Hey guys, today with the topic, she is the only one for me, and why that is complete crap in my eyes. I used to be the same way. I thought I was looking for the lid to my pot and there can only be one that fits perfectly. If it didn't go well, after a certain time, I looked elsewhere, and if it went well, I put the woman on a pedestal and tried to read her every wish from her eyes. As I know today, this was in each case a rare stupid bullshit, because firstly, every relationship needs work from both sides, and if you stick to it, at least if the basis is right, you can solve many emerging problems through communication. And secondly, women don't want to be put on a pedestal. Now and then you can bring such a gesture, but keep her at eye level with you. How else will she respect you? If you treat her like her biggest fan, you will only get what a fan would get. An autograph on the forehead may be a one-night stand. And I mean that in a figurative sense. You are distancing yourself more and more from them, if you are in a relationship with them, and lower your value more and more, by holding them for the one right one in your life and also treating them like that. As if you will never be happy again without her, as if she is the only one who gives meaning to your life or is responsible for your happiness. Even in a relationship you are responsible for your own happiness, and a woman is all well and good, but you must always remember that what she triggers in you comes from you. In simple terms, these are processes that are repelled in your body, that put on your rose-colored glasses and trigger happiness in you, and these processes also work without this very woman. The only thing that connects you with her in the long term is your bond that deepens over time through shared experiences, memories and goals. But you can also have and do these with someone else. In fact, in my opinion, there is always someone out there who fits you even better. But of course, that doesn't put this new person on the same level as your current girlfriend, because you don't have the bond with her yet. You've leveled up the bond over time, like a Pokemon like that. That doesn't mean you can't surpass them. What I'm not saying is that you should always be looking for the best, even while you're in a relationship. If that is the case and you are happy with her and she gives you no reason to think otherwise, then put all the energy you are willing to spend on women into your relationship. However, be aware that you have a value on the dating market and others can give you just that as well, or you will have no problems at all to win a woman like her back for you. Keep them human in your eyes, because that is what they actually want. The fact that we don't notice this directly doesn't make it any better, because when our eyes are opened and we see the real faults of the person we love so much, the whole thing turns very quickly in an unpleasant direction, and neither you nor they want that. In that case, it is your fault that she could not fulfill these demands, because they were simply utopian from the beginning. Besides, you only really get to know a person when they break up. For example, what did they tell you about their ex? How did they act and talk about him afterwards? You can assume that this is exactly their way and that they will become the same to you after a relationship. Or at the moment the relationship with you has ended for them, because their attraction to you has diminished so much. This behavior of yours, to think that she is the only one, is one reason why it often comes so far and the attraction is lost. You just don't act like a man anymore, and after the separation her value to you shoots up again by default because you think you're going to lose her forever, and we humans are wired for attachment and grouping. Being separated from the people you have an attachment to meant at the very beginning of humanity that the chance of dying increases drastically. We are alone and this feeling is one and the same. So it is perfectly natural to make them the one inside for a short time. To make reconquering its only purpose in life. But I tell you clearly, you are in a different phase than they are. And what already didn't work within the relationship will only repel them more now. That's an instinct you have after that, which is absolutely not conducive to your own self-worth. Self-worth is something that you then become completely indifferent to anyway, and it should never be, because in my opinion, it is one of the cornerstones of your attractiveness towards women, and more importantly, it is something that gives you confirmation and drives you from yourself. Without that drive, you rely on outside validation, and men don't get that easily these days. Women? Sure, not only positive ones, but also unwanted ones. That's partly not a good thing either. But men can really only rely on their mother for that, if she's not completely sick in the head. Because normally the bond with the mother is the only one strong enough to see the good in the other again and again. You will never achieve that again like that, because depending on how old you are, the bond has been, well, leveled your whole life. And you relied on it completely for the first 15 to 20 years. But that's also such a problem these days. I, for example, didn't really grow up until I decided that. If a man wants to, he can go back to his bachelor pad after work and behave there just like he did when he was 14. No obligations, no goals, just be a kid. And many take advantage of that. I did, too, for the first few years in and after college. This mindset doesn't come overnight and you're no longer forced to grow up at all. Everything you experience during this time, whether it's being alone or with women, is actually a joke. But it becomes the standard for one and through that we then have men who think they have to be the way society tells them to be. As they see it on TV, as women have shown it to them so far. And women don't always show exactly what they want. They expect it, and rightly so. Certain things you can simply expect from a man, and that is that he lives up to his potential and does not behave like a 15-year-old. Only when you have understood this and also look from the outside at his current situation and relationship, you will realize where partly the mistakes lie. And most of the time, that's somewhere in yourself. But I'm getting too far ahead of myself again, I guess. The basic premise is this: we are responsible for ourselves and for behaving the way a woman wants us to behave if we want to have a serious relationship. Not for the woman's sake, but for us. It is perfectly natural to behave like a man. We are pretending if we think, like overly romantic people, that she is the one who is better than everyone else and we can't do without her. See it for what it is. An inner instinct that you can follow. But not like in a Disney movie, but well dosed. Bringing her breakfast in bed on a Sunday morning won't kill you. But doing something for her that goes completely against your grain just because she snaps her finger. Nah, you have your frame, don't deviate from it for anyone, women or men. That's why I think it's so important to establish and memorize that frame outside of a relationship. To practice it in order to be able to act like this in exceptional situations as if by reflex. This is the only way to attract women and people in general who can cope with this frame and with whom you don't have to pretend. Don't act like a little girl but simply like the man you want to be. Take care and see you in the next video.